Good evening, and thanks again for staying with News 19's coverage on this 2024 election night. I'm Dustin Lukey. We are starting to see some results coming in for races in Minnesota and Wisconsin as polls closed at 8 o'clock. Let's get a look now at what we've got so far, starting with some very early numbers in Wisconsin's congressional races. The 3rd congressional district, just 3% of the vote in there, currently showing incumbent Republican Derek Van Orden with a 58 to 42% lead over Democratic challenger Rebecca Cook. Taking a look at the 7th congressional district race, a seat held by Tom Tiffany for the last 4 years. The Republican incumbent leading with 72% of the vote right now over Democratic challenger Kyle Kilborn, just 1% of the vote in there. We are seeing some of the larger races come into play. Minnesota's U.S. Senate race, incumbent Democrat Amy Klobuchar currently trailing Republican challenger Royce White, but that's with just 1% of the vote in there, 50 to 47. And with the balance of the Senate on the line tonight, we are watching closely the race in Wisconsin. Incumbent Democrat Tammy Baldwin seeking her 3rd term in the Senate, with 42% of the vote right now, trailing Republican challenger Eric Hovde, that again with just 5% of the vote in. As mentioned, Senator Baldwin is seeking her 3rd term in the U.S. Senate, and reporter Grace Howdick has more from the Baldwin campaign.
U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin and Governor Tony Evers are here on Library Mall at UW-Madison's campus, making their final push to voters. But before this, she was in Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. We have heard it over and over again just how important Wisconsin is going to be in deciding the next president and ultimately who has control in the Senate. Right now, there are 51 Democrats and 49 Republicans in the chamber. Baldwin, who was in Milwaukee last night, also spoke about Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, focusing on his resume as a public servant.
In picking a fellow Midwesterner, it is absolutely clear that this campaign knows that the path to the presidency and control of the United States Senate runs directly through Wisconsin. Because we are the battleground state in this election.
Throughout her campaign, Baldwin highlighted issues like reproductive freedoms, health care, and the fentanyl crisis. Also at that Milwaukee rally, Senator Baldwin criticized her Republican challenger Eric Hovde, questioning his residency in Wisconsin and the amount of time that he spent here. Reporting in Madison, I'm Grace Howdick.
Our thanks to Grace for that update. We now turn to reporter JT Seskowski, who's got you covered on the Hovde campaign.
Eric Hovde spent the last leg of the race here on Madison's east side at these offices that are maintained by the state's Republican Party, where he participated in a phone bank before taking questions from the press about his expectations for the evening. The Republican Senate candidate plans to spend election night in Madison, where he grew up and attended high school. Hovde is straddling the traditional Republican mold of embracing free enterprise and deregulation with the style of conservatism advanced by former President Donald Trump. His campaign has sought to spotlight immigration, inflation, and overregulation of health care. If he wins, Hovde could serve as the deciding factor that gives Republicans control of the Senate.
Look, I hope the outcome gets decided tonight. I know it's probably going to be later tonight, but I feel really good. The momentum, I feel, has been on our side, and hopefully, sometime around 11 o'clock, we'll get some positive results.
If Republicans can win the presidency, they need to pick up just one Senate seat to take control of the chamber. Such power would give them authority over approving various appointments by the president, including Supreme Court justices. Both Hovde and Democratic incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin have tried to paint themselves as the pro-worker candidate. But Baldwin has already defeated 2 Republicans in previous Senate elections. Hovde's task of defeating a 2-term incumbent is no small order, and this particular Senate seat has not been in Republican control since Senator Joe McCarthy last won it in 1952. Reporting in Madison, I'm JT Seskowski.